say that we're hiding behind tech and we need to stop, but how do we know when to introduce technology into a conversation that we're having, but still maintain that relationship?
Yeah, it's a tough one that, and it depends on the circumstances, and it's not really something that you teach, it's more something that you learn over time. The important thing is start without technology. Don't start with technology as a default. If you're going to do a presentation to a customer or a client, don't bring out the technology as the first step. Sit down and talk to the other person. And in fact, when we work with our resellers, although we ultimately sell software, I tell them, do not talk about software. Do not talk about technology. Don't talk about the features and the benefits. Get to know the person that you're sitting opposite and get to understand their business. That's what you want to know. Then you become like a doctor. You diagnose instead of hard selling. A doctor will only offer you a specific product that meets your specific needs after he or she has listened to what your problems are. And that's essentially what this is about. So coming out from behind technology is about listening first and being a trusted advisor or expert first, and then focusing on the sale way down the line.
Do you think this is something the younger generation really needs to focus on and maybe be educated around, since this is the generation that's always been on social media, they've always been online, they've always wanted information quickly and fast, and they haven't really had the time or the resources, I guess, to build those real personal relationships because they've always been in front of a screen?
Sure, that's a great question, and if you ask any parent, which I am, they'll tell you that yeah, sometimes you are very concerned that that it's more relationships have become more fleeting than they are kind of long term. So I definitely think this is something that young people need to learn about. But then we must also remember that young people haven't really been hit or haven't really experienced and been hit with the how do you call it, the torrential downfall, rainfall, I should say, or the torrent of life experiences and business experience. So I think that is definitely something that we need to look at, because we do not want to become a society of technological clones. We need to remember that we are dealing with people. And again, I'll say it comes down to response rates. Which response rates are higher, the hard sell approach or the relationship building approach? And time again, the relationship building approach works.
I think a lot of people might say the relationship building approach takes a lot more time and resources. Maybe they don't have time for that. What would you say to those people?
Partly, yes. It takes more time and resources at the front. And this is why what we specialize in is something we call the journey. So rather than spending a lot of time and resources continuously producing new content, rather take your content that you have and craft it into a journey, which is a series of episodes, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. And that way your content becomes much more stretched, it's much quicker and easier to do, to put together, and much longer lasting. And that's essentially the technique that we teach, which is the journey approach. So by taking customers and prospects and your contact list on journeys, you'll find that the amount of resources and time and effort required over the long term is actually very, very low.
All right, if you had to sum up everything we've been speaking about in 3 tips for people who want to start building those personal relationships in order to further their sales careers, what would you say those are?
Stop being a salesman, number 1. Number 2, start being a teacher, an expert, and a trusted advisor. And number 3, build a database.
Scott, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.